Black Lives Matter protests are showing no signs of slowing down, and as protests for racial justice continue across the country, more groups within the Black community are refusing to remain silent. That includes people who are deaf or hard of hearing, a demographic that has been heavily impacted by police brutality. With me now is American Sign Language interpreter Rory Burton and behavioral therapist and advocate Michael Agan. Michael, thank you so much for joining us, both of you. Explain to us how encounters with police are different and often dangerous for someone who is Black and deaf or hard of hearing.
So, yeah, as a deaf individual, my experience with the police has been a little nerve-wracking, because they don't know sign, or sometimes if I do the sign, it can confuse them and they might think I'm trying to refuse to pay attention or follow their orders, or maybe not follow what they're saying. But the point of that is just I can't hear what they're trying to tell me to do.
And Michael, just explain to our audience why it's so crucial that both of these identities, being Black and deaf, be not separated when talking about police shootings in the Black Lives Matter movement.
Because I identify as, Black and deaf. The police will only see the color of my skin first and my deafness second. So they should not be separated. They should be kept together because they're both part of my identity. And it clarifies the access that I need when communicating with officers so that we won't have any sort of miscommunication. And I have had negative experiences with the cops before when we just have had miscommunication, and it causes me to fear, because I just want to make sure that the communication is full and clear. And with interpreters, it definitely provides the access for us to have a safer encounter with police, at least for me.
Rory, how did you get involved in becoming an interpreter in the movement, and what were some of the issues you saw that needed to be addressed?
I started going to protests myself, and I noticed that there were people from the NLG, the National Lawyers Guild, who were there using their skills in the legal profession to apply it to protests to provide protection. I saw people who were medics who work in the medical field by day and who come out to protest to provide their skills and the supplies that they have for protesters. So I thought that applied to me as well. I have a specific set of skills that most people in the population do not have. So why am I allowing my hearing privilege to lay dormant and just attend a protest when I need to be out there providing access for the deaf and hard of hearing community, for Black deaf people who need that access, who need to protest and have their voices lifted up and spotlighted, really. And so just the need to have interpreters at protests, Black interpreters specifically, and Black, Indigenous, POC interpreters generally need to be the ones out there providing the access, because this is our story, this is our movement, and we need to make sure that we're providing access at all times.
Michael, jumping off on what Rory just mentioned, so our audience can understand, explain a little bit more in detail why you feel that it's important that interpreters at these protests also be Black. Is there a difference in the language that is used?
Thank you for that good question. Black interpreters or interpreters of color, we don't have very many, but they have access to, not just the ASL or the Black ASL, or, people of color or interpreters of color have the cultural understanding as well, not just so much the language. And at times when a deaf person attends these protests and they see an interpreter up there that they can relate to, it does make them feel a little bit more involved and feel like they're more part of it. So that cultural aspect of having interpreters of color is definitely important for us to feel united.
And Rory, how has the coronavirus made signing and interpreting more difficult, especially at these protests where lip reading and emotional inflection can help?
As interpreters, we can't really wear masks when we're out there interpreting. Everyone is masked up at protests, at least here in Los Angeles. And we have to take our masks off because so much of the grammar of ASL is on our face, so much inflection is included. It's not necessarily for lip reading, but that also potentially has an impact as well. So we have to take our masks off when we're on the platforms, when we're interpreting. And so, of course, that puts us at higher risk, but it's just kind of something that we have to accept and move on with.
And Michael, let me ask you, people who are watching this segment will certainly want to perhaps know, outside of people who are outside of the deaf and hard of hearing community, how to be better allies, both at these protests and in the community when moments of police brutality do occur. What advice do you have for them?
I believe, definitely performance allyship is not something that we would like, Definitely involve yourself, learn ASL, involve yourself with people of color who are disabled. Me, myself, I am an Instagram teacher. I do teach ASL on Instagram, and I'm trying to kind of spread the word that way. And I would like to teach people to know we would want people to become involved. We need help. We need interpreters, not just people that know ASL professionally, but people that can also join in this revolution, in the protests. And that's definitely something that I would like the allies to know.
Rory Burton and Michael Ayan, thank you both very much for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.